Hi my lovies and welcome back to my channel. I picked up the Healthy Mix foundation yesterday in Boots and realised I've never actually used this foundation in my life. Sorry I'm a bit lispy as well today because I've gotten my new Invisalign, so I'm a bit like I may spit on myself. I picked up the Healthy Mix foundation, realised I've never used it before, and I was like, oh my god, I need to review this for you guys. I know it's an old foundation, but I think the reviews are still relevant. This foundation I think was $12.99 or $13.99, something like that. Super affordable. I'll link down where you can buy it below. I bought the shade number 55, dark beige. I have no idea if this is even going to match me. Never fear, because the kitty cat ears are here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to prime one side of my face. I'm going to take the One Heck of a Blot from Soap and Glory. I know I was missing something. I have no mirror in front of me. What's going on? Oh my god, that is so much better. I'm trying to use like the viewfinder as a mirror. That's not going down well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to prime this side of my face with my One Heck of a Blot from Soap and Glory. Just like put this all over this side of my face and just blend that in with my fingers. Okay, so here's some of the claims about the Healthy Mix foundation. Contains a unique blend of vitamins for an anti-fatigue effect whilst leaving your complexion radiant and even. Gives skin instant anti-fatigue effect. Hydrating formula keeping your complexion radiant for up to 16 hours. It says radiant, which I'm thinking this is not going to be a foundation for oily skin types. But I mean, that's the whole purpose of a wear test. So I am hoping that this foundation matches me because we're going to be in an awful lot of bother if it doesn't. I'm going to pump it out onto the back of my hand. Ooh, it's looking a tad bit light. On the right side of my face, I'm going to take my brush like I always do. It's looking a little bit light, but it might oxidize, so I might get away with this. And there's nothing that bronzer can't solve. It has a fragrance, which is actually quite a nice fragrance. It smells a little bit like strawberries, I'm gonna say. Do you know what? That shade is not too bad. Definitely a medium coverage. The brush makes it look really nice. Blended out really easily. It is oxidizing a little bit, I will say, because you saw how light it went on and it looked more like my natural skin tone now. On the other side, I'm going to take my Sigma sponge. Can we just deal with how dirty this is? I need to really deep clean it. I've tried my best, guys. I promise. I'm just going to apply, oh my, just going to apply it on this side. I really do like the smell of this. So you can see how light this side is in comparison to this side, so that the coverage is fabulous. Oh, careful of the piercing. I've just realised what this foundation smells like. It smells like Petit Filou. I think that the brush did a much better application than the sponge. I feel like applying it with the beauty sponge has made it a tad bit uneven, or it looks a little bit blotchy on my skin. Foundation feels incredibly light on my skin. It feels like I'm wearing nothing, and I applied one layer and you can see it's just really evened out my skin tone. Honestly, the coverage that I have right now I'm happy out with, but I'm going to just apply a teeny tiny bit more just to see how it layers on the skin. I also am noticing a tiny little bit of seepage around the pore area, and I often have that problem anyway, but it's definitely worse on this side, probably because I've no primer on this side. So I will say both sides is layered up quite well. Foundation looks amazing. The colour is quite nice on my skin. Feels ridiculous. I can't stress this enough. Ridiculously lightweight. So far, so good. The time now is 10:49. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply the rest of my face and I'll come back to you guys. Hi guys, I just wanted to come back to you really quickly. I know I don't have my full face done, but I just wanted to kind of like elaborate on something that I noticed when I was applying my powder. Just a little bit of seepage from the foundation just around here and in my pores, and I've just kind of noticed that the powder's kind of grabbing onto those areas. The MAC Mineralized Skin Finish Medium, I use this all the time. Like, it's my go-to powder. I have used it for years. I know it's not the powder, it's definitely the way that the powder and the foundation are mixing. If you can see kind of just my pore area here and just a little bit here, you can kind of see where the foundation's just seeped in a little bit, and I'm just noticing the little lines just around my mouth. You can see them there. It's just seeping in a teeny bit to them. Also, the shade has gone so much darker. Like, it oxidizes a lot more than I thought it would. When you are getting your color, make sure that you get a color maybe a little bit lighter than your actual skin tone. I love when I tell myself that we're going to do simple makeup and it ends up like this. I want to check in with you guys if I can get my phone to work. So it's currently 11:34. On my lips I have 3 different things. I am using the lip liner from Wet n Wild in Burgundy, Gone Burgundy, the lipstick from Milani in Matte Innocence, the Maybelline Vivid Hot Liqueur Lacquer, or whatever you want to call it, and this is in number 60 Teas. I use the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer to kind of bronze up my skin. For my blusher, Warm Soul from MAC, I absolutely adore this. And then my highlight is the Fenty Beauty Kilowatt. I mixed both of the shades just to highlight my face. Then on my eyes, I use the Morphe 3502 palette. I love this palette, I'm addicted to it. Let's discuss the foundation. I think that everything went on my face really nicely. I feel like everything is sitting on it quite nicely. My highlight, my blush, everything. The only issue I did have was with the setting powder. So I recommend setting it with a loose powder instead of setting it with the MAC powder or whatever. I haven't tried it with my Rimmel Stay Matte. I'll let you know what I think of that as well. I think the foundation looks absolutely beautiful on my skin. Like, it really does look quite airbrushed. It looks really uniform on my skin. It doesn't feel heavy, which I actually want to stress that point. I don't even feel like there's anything on my skin. The only thing that feels heavy on my face right now is my brows, because I have like setting gel through them and all sorts. Still having those teeny issues with it kind of seeping into my pores here. I'm not noticing it creasing any more than it did earlier on. Like, I will have a little bit of creasing in here around my mouth and pores kind of throughout the day, I'm sure, but right now I think it looks beautiful. It's not even on an hour. It's how it wears, that's the most important thing. I'm gonna go get my nails done now. I will check in as soon as I'm home, so I will check in with you guys later to see, is my opinion still the same or have I changed my mind? Hi guys, so I'm just back from getting my nails done. I had a couple of errands to do as well. Very annoying, you know, one of those days where you're just out and about and just you have to do so much. Right now it's 4:18. I don't even know if you can see that. My screen is so bright. So I've been on for 6 hours. Is that right? Yeah, that would be right. 6 hours. I am really impressed for the wear of this foundation. It's not oily on my skin at all. It's not sitting funny on my skin. I was wearing my glasses. There's no wear around my nose or anything. Not that I can see anyway in the mirror or on the viewfinder. It hasn't worn off on my jawline or anything like that. I think it looks unreal. Like, I'm really happy with it, especially after 6.5 hours of wear. I am noticing I'm getting a tiny bit shiny in between my brows, and if you can see that there, I can totally see that. I feel like the foundation color is a little bit annoying because you have to get, like I said, a shade lighter or else it'll oxidize on you, because it definitely looks a lot darker on me right now than it did this morning when I put it on. But I'm really happy with the color. I'm not oily after 6 hours. Like, I have a tiny little bit of oiliness around my nose, a little bit in between my brows, but nothing kind of extreme. I will say though, on this side where I primed, my pores are not as emphasized as on this side. I think that it has seeped a little bit more into my pores as the day has gone on, whereas the side that I primed, I'm not noticing any difference to like normal seepage. So primers for me are really important. I don't notice, like I said, anything with the wear, whether I wear a primer or not, but I do notice like with the seepage and stuff like that, especially around your mouth and in between my brows. I definitely noticed that it would seep a little bit more inside so that I don't prime. So I would zoom in just for you guys just to see, so you can kind of see where it has seeped in a little bit more and just kind of where it's sitting in my lines. But it's not too bad. Like, you can see in between my brows and stuff. Like, it's looking okay. I'm pretty happy. Right guys, I will chat to you in a few more hours. Hi guys, so I'm back from my final update of the night. It's currently 8:28. I don't know if you can see that, my phone's charging. But I said I'd do the final update after 10 hours of wear. That's how long we've been wearing this foundation. It hasn't really lasted great on my skin. I mean, it's not the worst looking foundation I've ever seen. I haven't blotted or anything throughout the day, but it is just a little bit oily, like you can see that. Like I said, it is like the healthy mix foundation, so I'm presuming this is supposed to look radiant on the skin, so possibly not suitable for my skin type. I'm not looking ridiculously oily, but just, you can see my face is quite moist. And my sister was over with me and she was saying, your skin looks a little bit kind of oily. She was like, what foundation are you wearing? I was like, oh, I'm actually testing out a new one. She was like, yeah, I don't think it suits your skin. Maybe in the cooler months, like even though it's November now, but maybe like in December or something when it's really cold and my skin is maybe a little bit drier, I might be able to get away with it, but right now, no. So if you're oily, I wouldn't recommend it. It's not the worst foundation. The best thing I have to say about it is the longevity of it. It has lasted incredibly well on my skin, even though it is a bit oily and dewy. Like, you can see there's no like rubbing off on my cheeks or anything like that, or my jawline. My chin, there's a little bit of movement and a little bit on my nose, but in general it's not too bad. There's not much more seepage than what we're looking at earlier on. I think for me personally, it's probably only going to be like a 5-6 hour wear foundation. I think anything longer than that is just going to look really oily on my skin, but I'll zoom in and show you guys what it looks like. Please excuse my horrible lips at the moment, they're a bit dry, but you can kind of see like how oily it is here, just on like my oiliest parts of my face, obviously my cheeks, and it has just seeped into like my laughter lines. It is grabbing on a little bit to the hair over my lip as well, I've noticed that too. Again, same seepage in between my brows, but otherwise it's not too bad. It's just quite dewy. Like, it's really late in the day, it's been 10 hours of wear, but I am going to blot just to see how this works out. So I'm taking the Too Faced Born This Way translucent powder. I'm absolutely loving this lately. I think it is fantastic. Can we rectify any of the situation? Ooh, probably a bit too much powder there. You can definitely bring this bad boy back to life. Like I said, the coverage of it is fantastic, hasn't broken down too much, and just a little bit of powder and I'm not as oily or shiny as I was. And this is 10 hours of wear. Like, I possibly won't wear this foundation for 10 hours, but just if you wanted to, it feels so much better now. Oh, there you go, I've rejuvenated it. That's my full review on the Healthy Mix foundation. I still think it's a fantastic foundation, just not really particularly suitable for my skin type, but if I blotted or put some powder on, I could definitely get away with this for 10 hours. Like I said, it's on my face for 10 hours now and it's looking not too bad. If you're drier, this would definitely be a suitable one for you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this video was informative. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and let me know what other videos you would like to see on my channel, and I will talk to you very, very, very soon. I love you guys. Mwah. Bye.